Truly enjoying the essence of running is about channeling into your flow state. It's about removing anxiety, distraction, and stress from the process. This is true running, honouring our primal instincts and abilities. Now, this has not always been easy for me, and this made me realise that most people do struggle with this removing of the distraction that is associated with things like running motivation, the thought of running injuries, and running fatigue, etc. And this perspective on running and this approach to running being a chore or something that we have to do takes away from the pure beauty that running can be when we are patient with it and also understand how much we can learn about ourselves when we are consistent with our running. So over the years, I've developed some techniques that allow me to be more in tune with my body when I run, more laser focused and able to soak up the entire experience. It has made me a more efficient, stronger and faster runner while also enjoying the process much more. So I'm going to share these techniques with you today because they have helped me tremendously over the years to get the pure joy out of running along with the results that I desire. So let's get started with tip number one. So tip number one is all about how we breathe in our running posture and technique. So I start every single run with deep nasal breathing to warm up. So this is breathing in through the nose. So I take a long, slow, powerful breath in through my nose, and then I listen to the sound of it that it makes when I exhale through my mouth. So I focus on holding a strong upright posture while I do this, and also focus on breathing with my diaphragm, so from my diaphragm to engage the surrounding muscles that allow for more efficient breathing. So this will immediately calm the nervous system and put you into a more focused state of mind. This also enhances our posture by tuning into how our body feels as we are warming up and getting into our run. Now I find that the longer I get into the run, the more of a meditative state I can find myself in from focusing on these aspects of breathing and posture and technique. And I avoid running with music because this also allows different thoughts that may have been brewing in my subconscious mind to come to the surface. So I find that when I'm running, I can process these thoughts with a much clearer and positive mindset. This allows all of these scattered thoughts that can build up day to day to be more organized, which in turn relaxes me. This constant practice of meditating while running, I believe, makes us a calmer human being and will translate over to our running performance by reducing overall stress and simply facing our demons head on. The thoughts are not always pleasant, I will admit. However, it is necessary for us to face our thoughts and process them instead of shying away from them. Now, technique number two is about changing up our arm posture. So I think of this approach to running like changing gears in a car. So we can change our arm posture throughout our run to relax our body, refocus on our whole body posture, and also remove some of the monotony that may arise when we run. So this is also a great technique to use when we are facing a change in terrain. So for example, when I run up a steep hill, I'll usually change my arm posture and bring them down to gear one, I call it, by dropping my hands all the way down to my hips and allowing for a more swooping kind of arm posture. If I'm in a constant flow, for example, if I'm going along a nice flat long piece of concrete or road, then I may opt for a tighter, more composed posture with my hands up by my chest, or sometimes I'll lower the hands down to the belly button. Other times I'll completely straighten my arms and just shake them out to relax the body as a whole and ensure I'm under control and not overworking, especially during an easy run. So it's this constant changing in arm posture just reminds us to relax into our run and enjoy the process more. Sometimes if we're too upright, if we're shrugging our shoulders, we can compress our diaphragm, restrict our breathing, and just simply, this makes it harder on ourselves. So this constant reassessment of our posture changing up the arms can allow us to be more relaxed, breathe through our diaphragm, and be more efficient and actually use the oxygen that we are inhaling. Now, technique number 3 is to treat the terrain like a playground. So running does not have to be all serious. Of course, if we're training for specific races or trying to get faster, then we must be smart and specific with our training plan. But on the other hand, if we're too serious all the time, it zaps the fun out of running. So every now and then, I love to choose certain running paths where I know there are fun things to test myself with and break up the monotony of it. So for example, I love running over tree roots and trying to bound between them, staying light on my feet as possible. Or if there is a narrow object, I will run across that to test my balance. Or there may be a boulder or a small hill that I'll jump onto or jump off of, treating it like an obstacle course. There is even a local park I run at with monkey bars which I'll often swing on during or after my run. So I think this playful approach to running once again allows us to tap into more of a flow state, which relaxes our body and allows time to pass quicker as well. So if we're stuck obsessing with numbers every single running session and counting down each kilometre or mile, it does start to begin to feel like Groundhog Day, and the entire run just seems to kind of drag on. So this is a fun and playful way to break up the run and just enjoy it. So just make sure you are careful if you are applying this strategy and playing around with different obstacles. Just make sure your movements are under control. So the next technique is adding in small bursts of sprints throughout our easy runs. So we can often learn a lot from the nature of children. And in this example, we can use these short, excitable bursts of speed in our runs, just like a child does. So when you watch kids running around, playing and having fun, they'll often sprint and then slow down and then sprint and then slow down. And it's almost like interval training. Now, they don't plan it or think about it. It's just simply in their nature. They're just having fun with it. And we can do the same when we're out for a run. So if we get a sudden burst of energy or the runner's high kicks in, then just add in a quick 50-metre sprint or a stride. You don't have to overexert yourself, just do it when the time is right. Make it intuitive. So this changes up the cadence and the rhythm of the run, which can once again make it more fun and intuitive and just challenge your body in a different way. Keep it on its toes, so to speak. So for example, I often run at an area that has hills, and there is a certain spot where this creek runs between these two fields of grass, and the ground slopes down into this mini valley, and then there's a bridge that connects to both sides of this creek. So whenever I cross the bridge, I drop my hands down to my side, I lean forward like Naruto, and I sprint down this little slope across the bridge and up the other side. Then I simply return back to my normal running stride and carry on. So these short bursts of energy are great to retain a fast leg turnover and just make the run more enjoyable. And just one other note when using this approach: if you are not a strong runner and you find that just jogging is difficult for you at this stage, then try this approach instead. So instead of a run or a jog, go out for a nice brisk walk and then throw in small bursts of sprints throughout the walk when you feel the urge. So this way you're much less likely to injure yourself if you are still new to running. And remember, this is all relative to your own personal abilities. So do not try to compare yourself to more advanced runners. I made this mistake many times and ended up setting myself back. So it's all about slow, steady progress over the years. It's not about short-term progress. So just have fun with it. Listen to your body and just add in those bursts when the time's right. Now the next tip is to make some sound effects, and this one is a little bit odd, I know, but I've had this talk with a couple of my clients in the gym before, and I've noticed a couple of them do this as well. And So this is a technique that I love to do even when I'm in the gym, but more especially when I'm out running. And if I'm running over obstacles, or if the terrain is changing ever so slightly, then I'll make a sound effect to kind of go along with the movement. So I'll often picture myself like a Super Saiyan or a ninja or some kind of epic hero like that, and I'll make this kind of whooshing noise as I maneuver my body through the obstacle. So I'll just make a noise like a shoo or something like that as my body's speed picks up, or if I go down a little slope or something like that, I'll go shoo, something like that. And I know it kind of sounds weird as it's coming out of my mouth, but it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I find it's a great way just to stimulate the imagination, and once again remaining in this flow state. So I keep repeating flow state, but this is a state of being when we are fully inspired and fully in the moment. And this is when we are truly at peace, relaxed, and enjoying the moment itself. Our thoughts are not elsewhere. So this is just another technique I use to keep myself in this zone, in this moment, and keeping the body relaxed. Because the more relaxed we can be while running, the more efficient we become. Now, the final technique is to smile. So I learned this technique from the GOAT, Eliud Kipchoge. He is the Kenyan marathon running GOAT. He started his career in track and field at shorter distances, like 5 kilometers. Now he holds multiple world records. He's got the marathon world record, first man to ever run under 2 hours in the marathon. And he just has a really true understanding on discipline and just being extremely humble and really understanding the essence of running. And he uses smiling as a way to relax his body while running, so he can go further and longer with less stress on his body. And this is the point that I've been attempting to convey throughout this whole video, is that running is not purely a physical endeavor like many people view it as. This is a window into our soul and our entire being. This is physical, mental, spiritual. We gain insight into our inner weaknesses and our inner strengths when we are testing ourselves, when we're running through motion and we're feeling this fatigue and our mind is telling us different things, and it really tests us. But the more we practice this, the stronger we become. Now, running has changed my life for the better, and if we can remember to smile while doing so, it will truly go a long way to us realizing our human potential. So those are some of the techniques I use when I run each week to stay in an inspired and joyful state of mind. I used to struggle through my runs, but no more. I believe in finding a balance between playful and fun training sessions, and then hard, gnarly training sessions that test your grit and your will. So it's a sort of a yin and yang approach. It's allowed me to push my boundaries and get faster and stronger at running, but then also allowing these more gentle and enjoyable approaches to easy runs to maintain motivation year after year. To get out there, explore nature, while also exploring your inner world, your in through your mind and your being. So I hope these techniques help you. Now, I would advise, if you are going to try them out, to just try one at a time. So it's not often a good idea to change too many things at once in our lives, whether this is in a running context or just anything in life. Too many different variables and changes in our routine can kind of disrupt our routine and make it harder to hold on to habits long term. So if we just change one at a time, it makes it more manageable and better for us long term. So I would advise to just pick one of these techniques each week, give them a go, and then let me know how you get on. I'd love to hear your feedback on these. So that's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.